We are here in Kentucky with Amber Marshall for the 2024 Liberty Festival, and I'm so excited to have her here with me today to talk a little bit about why she's here, what she's going to do at the event. So, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, you've arrived in Kentucky, and the Liberty Festival actually has not started for you yet. So, what are you most looking forward to at this festival and your time here in Kentucky?
For me, this is my first official US event. So this is really special because I've had so many fans that have reached out that say, I don't have a passport. I can't come up and see you in Canada. When are you going to be coming to the States? So I'm really excited to be here for that reason. But also Kentucky. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. And I feel like I've hit it at a really good time of year, be able to tell me that. But the fall weather, and it's just so far, I've only been in town for 24 hours. But it is everything I've seen so far has just taken my breath away. The history, the huge, beautiful landscaped horse farms that go on for miles and miles. So lots of things that I'm excited to be here for. But again, being able to work with Dan James and his team for the Liberty Horse Festival, I love Dan. He's always been an inspiration to me with his horse work and things that I've seen him do right in person. And I find that being around people who you admire, people that respect in the horse world, really helps you to be a better horse person as well.
I can definitely say you're in the perfect place for all things horses. You're in the horse temple of the world.
Yes.
So there's no better place you could come, and it's always beautiful this time of year, although we've had some oddly warm weather.
Well, that's good. I'm fine with that.
Yes. So your fans know you're involved with horses not only on the show, but in your daily life. You're a horse person yourself. So how do you explain how horses have shaped who you are as a person?
Horses have really shaped me, and I feel like they've kept me grounded in everything that I do because you're a nobody to a horse until you bring your best self to them. And I think that a lot of people can learn from being around horses. It's not your title, it's not your status, it's not how much money you make or how famous you might be. It's who you are inside. And I think that being around animals and horses has kept me sane. Number one, I like to think so, and grounded. And I think that you have a respect for your co-stars when they're animals in a whole different level than you would with a human. Because again, they don't have egos. They're not saying, I've done this many films. And my co-stars, Spartan, was on the show for 15 years of his life. And he's still the same guy that he was when he started. And I love that about horses and working with horses. They started riding when I was 4. So I've been around horses most of my life. And like they got me through a lot of things that I would have had a little bit more trouble with in finding myself who I am and to be if horses weren't in my life. Teenage years when girls can be harsh, and there's some things that I look back on now that I think horses really helped keep me at a level of just a genuine connection to my true self. And I think that's something that a lot of humans can't do at certain times in your life, but animals can. And I've been fortunate to have animals in my life since I was a tiny kid. So I think that they really have helped me balance that, not only that work life idea, but also in school. If you're really stressed out, if there was something going on, if you just wanted somebody to talk to that would listen and not necessarily give you their peace of mind, it was a horse. I think that that's really kind of been my go-to in my entire life when I've been feeling a certain way. It could be, you're a little bit stressed, you've got something going on, you go and you just spend time with a horse and you instantly feel that.
Well, and with your career being an actress, it's probably kept you really humble because most celebrities they live the Hollywood life, but you have horses to keep you grounded and more humble and to be say more down to earth.
There's nothing like walking out a stall or a shelter or that keeps you on that grounded level. And I think for me, that is my therapy. That is it's also my gym, my fitness, my everything, right? Because I'm not someone who spends time in a gym or a fitness center. I get all my exercise by doing my chores. Not only do they keep you physically fit, but they also keep your heart happy. And like I said, It's just something about just being out with animals in nature. You have a whole different perspective on the daily happenings around you, and things that might seem big or stressful at the time just seem to melt away when you spend time in company of it.
So when you're not busy filming, what is your favorite things to do with your horses?
For me, I've never been big into competition because I don't like the added pressure. I don't like the stress that it puts on me because my daily job, I wouldn't say it's overly stressful, but there's a lot expected of me. And so for me, when I have time off, I just want to do what I want to do and not have specific goals or things that I need to achieve with my horses. So for me, my animals are my friends. They're not a tool, or they're not something where I'm trying to push and get better at a specific thing. That's my time to just enjoy. So I think my favorite thing to do on my off time is just for long trail rides with my horses. I actually love solo rides the best. It's time for me just to decompress and be at one with my horse and nature. And it's a time to think, it's a time to reflect and to just let yourself be still, quiet. And I think that's really important to mine because it would be my form of meditation, just to let myself be there and be present in that moment with the animal and nature.
It gives you a nice break from work.
From the busyness, from all the things that are going on.
Yes. So obviously, when you're not spending time with your horses, everybody knows you for Heartland, but how has Heartland changed your life? So not only for your career, but how has playing Amy inspired or impacted who you are as a person?
It's incredible to think back that I have been on hard land as long as I haven't been on land. So I was 18 years old when I got the role, and we now just completed the 18th season of Heartland. So to say that it's impacted me in ways that I don't even really realize at this point in my life, because I find that the people that you're around, the situations that you're put in, they build who you are, they create and shape you. And I really don't know where I would be without this show. Probably wouldn't be in Alberta. I grew up in London, Ontario, and it was the show that brought me out west. And I don't see myself just venturing out there without a reason, without a purpose. And so I can't imagine my life without Portland, really. I think that I would probably still be in London, Ontario. I would have horses and animals in my life, because I always did and I always will. But to have the opportunity to travel out west, to meet new people, to form connections with talented horse people like Dan James that I never would have had the opportunity to before. I mean, Heartland has opened up so many doors for me, and it has just created a life where I never dreamed that I would be living at this point. And I think that, again, like I can't imagine my life without Heartland. And I think that it truly has kind of pushed me in a path that I always was drawn towards, but didn't quite know how to get there.
Well, so on Heartland, everybody that watches, we know and get to see Dan James horses on set. So how's your experience been able to work with him?
He has such an incredible energy with animals and people. If you've ever spent time with Liberty horse trainers, they they have to be calm. They have to be have this presence that the horses resonate, right? Because if you're going to work your horses at Liberty, they have to respect you, but they also have to understand that you are a calm and gentle leader. Because if you're not, then they're going to sense that, and they're going to say, "Well, why am I following you? And I don't enjoy this experience." So Dan, second, just an amazing horse person, but he's also the person who taught Nikki Flundra everything she knows. Not everything she knows, but he was a big mentor in her life, and she's been one of the main horse trainers on Heartland since the beginning. So to be able to learn from her and then learn from Dan and know that, a lot of those same teachings that she taught me are things that he taught her, and to just come full circle and be able to see how that all ties in with one another is really cool. And Nikki's been involved with the show for the last 18 years. So I've known her for many years, and she was the one who taught me all of Liberty knowledge that you see on the show that Amy has done. So it's really special for me to be here and to be able to work with some of the top Liberty horse trainers in the world, and and to reflect on the things that I've learned and to learn new things as well.
Yep, I think that's just amazing that you get that experience. So, of course, we see your character Amy do a lot of Liberty work throughout the years since the beginning of the show. So, how has that experience been for you? And did you have any prior experience to Liberty work before?
I didn't have any prior Liberty horse training experience, and I always thought it was so magical. There was something whimsical about it, and I'd watched it, videos and things. And when I first experienced it was just before season 5. So season 5 was, I say, Amy's start into the Liberty world. And we had met Nikki previously, and she had her horses on the show for any time we needed a horse to rear or lie down, things like that, that we didn't have specific trained horses to come and do. We would bring Nikki and her teams in. And so I always loved watching her and her connection and being able to say, wow, your horse trusts you so much just to be able to lay down, which is, a very vulnerable position for a horse in front of a crew of 100 or more people standing all around it, lights, noise, and action, cameras rolling. And I just thought, I was like, that's a connection that's above and beyond. There's something really special about that. And so then when we decided to bring that storyline into Amy's world, I got so excited because I thought this is an opportunity for me to be able to learn these things and to put that into the show. And so I went down and I spent as many weekends as I could with the inner horses, just learning as much as I could so that I could do a lot of these things myself because A, I think it's super cool and wanted to learn it. And B, I think that it gives a realism to the character and the show when viewers can watch me doing it and they know it's like, oh, it's a cutaway, it must be her stunt double, or oh, that's not really her. But to be able to do that, to show not only the viewers, but also my friends and family that are there and the crew members, and I'm like, "Look, guys, this is really cool. Like, I was able to do this," was really special to me. So, for that reason, season 5 really sticks out because that was kind of my journey into the world of Liberty.
So, you mentioned stunt double. So, you try to do everything as much as you can, I assume.
Yeah.
But you do have to have a stunt double, I'm sure,
Yes.
every now and then.
Yeah, I would love to do it all. But again, I think some of the things that people don't think about is when we see Amy crash into the ground on the show, that doesn't just happen once. We do that 7, 8, 9 times in a row and then 7, 8, 9 times from another angle. So for me, we work 12 to 14 hours a day. If we're doing a stunt, that stunt person comes in, they just do the falls, then they get to go ice up and leave. I would have to continue on the day with, a sore back, sore head, whatever it might be. So for insurance reasons, but also for my own, general health and well-being, I am so fortunate to have super talented stunt people that also are trained to fall. They're padded up. They have like all of the things that it's like, okay, when the horse comes to a stop, you're going to go off this way and you're going to do a roll. And they practice and they practice. And it's not to say that something couldn't go wrong too, right? And we've been very fortunate on our end that our stunt people are great and there hasn't been any major things happen. But what happens if they fall a certain way and they break their arm? If that was me, I can't film the rest of the month or 2 months with a big cast on my arm. So I understand why stunt people are needed and really respected in what they do. Because for me, I know that like I couldn't do everything that they do, and they make me look good. It's
Right?
I always say Amy Fleming is definitely the miracle girl because she can do it all and do it all well, which we all know as horse people is not that obtainable. So I think that it's really nice being able to have somebody because I have a different stunt person for jumping and a different stunt person for falling down, and so they all come in and they have a very specific discipline that they excel at, and then that way Amy Fleming looks good
All the time.
all the time.